Hey guys, this is Miss Hubbard here with math lesson from Module 5, Lesson 3. The first thing we're going to start off with is fluency. The fluency activity that we're doing today is called How Many More Make 10? So, I'm going to write a number onto the screen, and I need you to tell me how many more we need to make 10. How many more ones does 8 need to make 10? Good. 2. Tell me the addition number sentence. 8 plus 2 equals 10. Let's try another one. How many more tens does 8 tens need to make 10 tens? 2 tens. What would the addition number sentence be? 8 tens plus 2 tens equals 10 tens. Great. Keep going. How many more does 80 need to make 100? 20. Good. What would the addition number sentence be? 80 plus 20 equals 100. Good. Let's try another one. How many ones would 16 need to make 20? 4. 16 plus 4 equals 20. Let's try another one. How many tens would 16 tens need to make 20 tens? How many tens would 16 tens need to make 20 tens? 4 tens. Addition number sentence. 16 tens plus 4 tens equals 20 tens. Next one. How many ones would 160 need to make 200? How much more? How much more does 160 need to make 200? 40. What would the addition number sentence be? 160 plus 40 equals 200. Next one. How many more ones does 28 need to make 30? 2. What would our addition number sentence be? 28 plus 2 equals 30. Next one. How many tens would 28 tens need to make 30 tens? 2. 2 tens. What would our addition number sentence be? 28 tens plus 2 tens equals 30 tens. Next one. How much more would 280 need to make 300? 20. What would our number sentence be? 280 plus 20 equals 300. Awesome job on fluency. Now we're ready to move on to our lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on adding multiples of 100 and some tens within 1,000. We're going to start off with the first problem. Our first problem is 420 plus 100. We're going to use the arrow way to solve all of these problems. This is very similar to the last video that I did, where you guys were practicing using the arrow method the same way that we did before. to add tens and ones. This time we're just adding bigger numbers. So 420 plus 100 is what? 520. Good. So now if I want to solve the problem 420 plus 110, I would take my 100 out of the number 110 and add that first. So 420 plus 100, you guys already told me, was 520. How much do we still have left to add? Good, we need to add 10 more. 520 plus 10 equals what? 530. How much did we add in all to 420? Good, 110. And if you look, you can see on top of our arrows, we added 100. Then we added 10, which would be the same as adding 110 to 420. All right. What would the number sentence be altogether for what we just did? 420 plus 110 equals 530. Let's try another one. For the next problem, we're going to do 550 plus 200. Then we're going to do 550 plus 250. Then we're going to do 550 plus 260. All right. So let's start with the first one. We're again going to use the arrow method to solve all of our problems. We know that we're going to start with 550. Then we'll do an arrow. And what am I going to add? Good. So you can either add 100 and 500 plus 550 plus 100 will equal what? 650. Then add another 100. 650 plus 100 would equal what? 750. Or you could do 550 and add both hundreds at the same time. So just do 550 plus 200 equals 750. Either way works, whichever way you're more comfortable with. So then we're going to go down to the next one. This time, instead of adding 200, we're adding 250. So we already know that 550 is going to be our first number. And then we're going to add what? Great, we're going to add 200 because you guys just told me above that 550 plus 200 equals 750. How much more did we need to add to 750 to add 250 altogether? 50 more. Great. So on top of this arrow, I'm going to add 50. 750 plus 50 equals what? Take your time. 800. Great. All right, let's go down to the third one. The third one is 550 plus 260. Now, I want you to pay attention to the numbers that we're adding. What do you notice about the first number in each number sentence? Good, they're all the same. All of the problems started with 550. What do you notice about the second number? Right. So each number in this, each addition sentence, the second number has two hundreds, but the tens is different. So um, you can use each problem before to help you solve the next problem. Let's go ahead and solve this one now. So what's the first thing that we're going to do? Start with 550. Then what are we going to do? Add 200. 550 plus 200 equals what? 750. Good. We know that from the first problem. Okay, so we've done that problem multiple times. Now, here's where it gets tricky. I want you guys to focus on making the next friendly number. And we know that a friendly number is a number that is a multiple of 10. So, what would be our next friendly number that we could make after 750? Good, so just like in the last problem, if we add 50 to 750, we get a nice friendly number like 800. If we add 50 to 750, how much more do we need to add 260? What have we added so far? 250. So how much more do we need to add? Good, 10. So 800 plus 10 equals what? 810. All right, I want you to think about what just happened. So if we look at it, we started with 550, we added 200, then we added 50 to make 800, then we added 10 more to get 810. We added 260 in all, but we just did it one chunk at a time. Let's try our third problem. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to add numbers in chunks. Breaking it down makes it easier for us to add and makes it more likely that we'll come up with the correct answer. So we're going to start by doing 280 plus 200. Next, we'll do 280 plus 220. And last, we'll do 280 plus 230. All right, still using the arrow method, what are we going to start with? 280. What are we going to add? 200. Real easy. 280 plus 200 equals 480. Let's go down to the next one. We're going to start with what? 280. Now we're going to add what? Awesome. If you forget, you can always look back at the last problem that we just did. We're going to add 200. We know that 280 plus 200 equals 480. How much more do we have left to add? 20. 480 plus 20 equals 500. Last one. We're going to add 280 plus 230. What do we need to start with? 280. What are we going to add? 200. What does that equal? 480. Now what do we need to add? 20. Why are we going to add 20 and not the whole 30 and 230? Right, we're trying to make a friendly number, and we know that if we add 20 to 480, it will take us to 500, which is a multiple of 100. So 480 plus 20 equals 500. How much more do we need to add? 10. 500 plus 10 equals what? 510. Let's try another one. Again, we're going to break the problem down to make it easier for us to add. So first we're going to add 470 plus 200. Then we're going to do 470 plus 210. And then we're going to do 470 plus 230. Put the video on pause, and I want you to take a second to try and figure this out on your own. Work out each problem using the arrow method. When you're done, you can come back and see if your work looks the same as mine. Alright, so if we do the arrow method with this one, then we'll do 470, and we'll add 200. 470 plus 200 equals what? 670. Then we come down and do the next one, starting with 470. We're going to add 200. That equals 670. Then we have 10 more that we need to add, and that's going to take us to 680. Then for the last problem, 470 plus 200 equals 670. And then we can add the whole 30 to 670 because that's going to take us to the friendly number of 700. So if you have what I have on my screen right now, then you are correct. All right, last one. All right, we are going to do 590 plus 240. I noticed something interesting about the first number. I wonder if anybody else wonders or notices the same thing. Right, 590 is close to 600. It's only 10 away. So I can add 10 to 590 to help me get to the next 100 or a friendly number. Let's try it. 590 plus, we're doing the arrow method. 590 plus 10 equals 600. All right, so here's the tricky part. We have to add what's left after we took the 10 away. So if I add 10 to 590 to make 600, how much more do I need to add? 230, because I'm taking 10 away from 240. So now let's add 230. 600 plus 200 equals 800. And then we need to add 30. 800 plus 30 equals what? 830. So 590 plus 240 equals what? 830. All right. great job sticking with me today, guys. I know that it's a little bit trickier when we're adding bigger numbers, but remember, this is the same thing that we've been doing all along: adding, subtracting, figuring out how to make friendly numbers. So none of it is new. We're just adding bigger numbers. So I want you guys to go ahead and look at the next page. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go down to the next page for you. And you guys are going to do the problem set. It says solve each of the problems using the arrowway. You're doing the same thing here that we did throughout the lesson. You can put the video on pause and take as much time as you need. You can also put the video on pause or go back to one of the problems that I did before if you're still a little confused on how to work through the problem. All right, you can pause the video, write down the problems that we're working on, and then go back to one of the examples to help walk you through. When you're done your exit ticket, take a picture, have your parents send it to me so that I can check and see if your answer is correct. If it's correct, I will let you know. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with, and stay tuned for the next video. Talk to you guys soon.